Another review. There's another paid request. This time for Yule, one of two requests. This time is to do a commentary on the film Tomorrow Never Dies. And for those interested requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, randomness, out of the blueness, whatever it may be, list, ranking, re-review, whatever, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. So, I have a pause at the beginning. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. As we have the United Artists, which I don't even know if they're still around. I mean, it's part of MGM. And MGM, I've said this before, MGM seems like it's always been a financial blockade for like 2 decades. I don't know if they're going to get bought out by Amazon or what the deal is. Here we have the famous gun barrel and many of the James Bond films. And I've always enjoyed Tomorrow Never Dies. It was always one of my favorites. Granted, this is the James Bond films I grew up with was GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, which is probably why those are two of my favorites. But I like Goldfinger, I like The Spy Who Loved Me, For Your Eyes Only, License to Kill, The Living Daylights. I like a lot of James Bond films. At least 80% of them I enjoy. And I thought Pierce Brosnan was a perfect choice for the role. I didn't grow up with the Remington Steele TV show, but I did grow up with him in films like The Lawnmower Man. He's in a very underrated one called Live Wire, where bad guys take this liquid and they've changed it so that when you drink it, if it mixes with your stomach acids, you become a living bomb. And so like their eyes bleed and their bodies pulsing. Talk about a living time bomb. Live Wire, I think it's actually a pretty fun action movie. Underrated film. Here we have Judi Dench, which was weird when her character and her went into the Casino Royale, because those are prequels, and they're not sharing the same timeline as this, but yet it's the same actors play the same role. But the whole continuity thing was always weird. And the one guy talking, I think that's Colin. Is it Salmon? Yeah, he was in Resident Evil, the first W.S. Anderson movie. He's the guy that in the hallway got cut to pieces. He was also in Alien vs. Predator, where Predator shot the dead on him, and then he got cut to pieces. These actors would probably pretty much be in each of the Pierce Brosnan movies. And like a lot of James Bond film, you have a mission, you have this big action set piece to get the audience going, and usually these are pretty exhilarating sequences. This one included. And the funny thing about this plot is that it's about a bad guy played by Jonathan Pryce, who was in the Whoopi Goldberg film Jumping Jack Flash. He played the president in G.I. Joe Retaliation and G.I. Joe The Rise of Cobra. He was in a lot of other stuff. He plays a media mogul who pretty much controls information of the media. And weirdly enough, compared to a lot of the James Bond plots, this is one that's actually more fitting in today's age and world. Especially with the internet. I mean, really nowadays this would be internet hacker. Disinformation. Just believe me, nowadays or today, there's a lot of disinformation. So, again, of the James Bond plots, this is actually one that's a bit more fitting and holds up a bit compared to others, like Die Another Day with the Mr. Burns Simpsons controlling the power of the sun and Death Ray like a Death Star. Of course that doesn't work, because we gotta put a little bit more anxiety into the proceedings. But this came out in 1997, and it did fairly well. I think it even made more money than GoldenEye. Especially when it had to deal with Titanic, because Titanic came out around the same time, and Titanic blew everybody away in terms of box office. Although I like this film a lot more than Titanic, because I've never been a Titanic guy. And it's sad that a lot of films kind of got killed because of it, like Deep Rising. which I love. That came out in January 1998, and Titanic was still doing its thing. And I just, Titanic, it's not the worst movie ever. I just not big into it. I'm sorry. There's many other films I enjoy more, including this one. I mean, Pierce Brosnan had that suave coolness, but could handle action scenes fairly well. It's sad he only lasted 4 films, and of those 4, again, this and GoldenEye I enjoy. I think they're rather good. The World Is Not Enough is completely forgettable, and Die Another Day is almost a parody, almost like an Austin Powers. Just that ice palaces and invisible cars and fucking shocker power glove hands. That does have a cool opening, Die Another Day, just like this does, where, he gets a fucking fighter jet and just satisfying. Now this is directed by Roger Spottiswoode, he directed a couple recognizable films. Back in the day, he did the film Terror Train, which is actually, I think, one of my favorite slasher films from the 80s. He did, I think, Turner and Hooch. I think he did Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. And I think The Sixth Day with Arnold. See, this is satisfying. All done for real. A real fucking fighter jet. Real explosions. Kudos to the stuntmen. All done for real on camera. Because they had the budget and they had the resources. And these James Bond films were big. They were big. They were extravagant. MGM, their pride and joy franchise. Let's be honest. MGM would have been dead years and decades ago if it wasn't for James Bond. Because they have 10 flops, but if you do a James Bond film, you get to recoup, not all, but a lot of those losses. And yeah, MGM, I don't know if it's dead or if it's bought by Amazon, wherever, but the only time it would ever be alive was because of... Which is sad, because MGM would release films like Rocky films and then United Artists died out because of... I forgot that movie, damn it. I'll think about it in a minute. Michael Cimino, Heaven's Gate. Heaven's Gate movie killed United Artists, and then that's how they got bought out by MGM. Then you start to see MGM United Artists. You have to go play chicken, are you? I believe I could fly. I believe I could touch the sky. They fucked up my TV. Fuck the snow I can't see. I believe I could soar. Just call me Bond, just one more. You're trying to strangle me. Oh boy, can you see? You're about to die. Oh yeah, this is the ejector scene. Okay, the ejector seat. Bye bye, bad guy. That'll be in a minute. Don't fuck with a guy who's got your ejector seat right next to you. Right next to him. Take out 2 birds with 1 stone. I mean, a lot of this is real aircraft, which they don't do a lot nowadays. It looks like they did it in that Top Gun sequel that hasn't come out yet. That's now been delayed. Was going to be now 2 years? Or 3 years now? There you go. 2 birds. There you go. Bye-bye, bad guy. Would that really explode, though? Like, the airplane, would that explode if that happened? I mean, I get that the plane would go down and crash, but would the plane explode with the ejector seat going to the other plane like that? I mean, the movie told me it did, but I don't know. And at least this James Bond film is a understandable length. Under 2 hours. Technically an hour and 58 minutes. You take out end credits, it's like an hour and 50 some minutes. That's a respectable time. Not this new one that I did not see because I don't want to sit down for 3 fucking hours just to watch James Bond die. Spoiler alert, the film's only been out for a while. But it's like, I don't want to sit down for 3 fucking hours to watch a goddamn... James Bond films don't need to be 3 hours long. This is a damn good movie. It's under 2 hours. You got Terry Hatcher from the Lois and Clark TV show. You got Joe Don Baker, who's in a couple of these Pierce Brosnan movies. Vincent Schiavelli was in the 1990 film Ghost. He plays an assassin in this. He's the ghost trying to teach Patrick Swayze in Ghost. Of course, Judi Dench. This song's not bad. It's not a favorite of mine, but it's fine. I think it's Sheryl Crow that did it. It's a lot better than the song "And Die Another Day" by Madonna. At least this film has a more consistent tone. Like "Die Another Day," I keep talking about that because that was the other request Yule had. Y-U-L-E, Yule, was to do a commentary "Die Another Day," and I did that yesterday. And I watched that again. That's fucking awful movie, man. Like the opening, it's James Bond being tortured while Madonna's doing this da-da-da-da, another day, like, we're gonna die another day. I'm watching James Bond suffocate. He's gonna drown. Oh, will he be okay? This, at least the tone's consistent. And yeah, this song is better than the Madonna song "Die Another Day." But if I were to say like my favorite Bond songs, "Live and Let Die," Paul McCartney, I would say "The Spy Who Loved Me," that "Nobody Does It Better." That's my favorite song. "The Spy Who Loved Me." Nobody does it better. That's my favorite James Bond song. And "Live and Let Die," I would say is my second favorite. "A View to a Kill," that's a good song. A View to a Kill. Say "Goldfinger," "For Your Eyes Only," "Your License to Kill," "Burn Down." But yeah, if I did a top three, it would be "The Spy Who Loved Me" theme song, "Live and Let Die," and probably "A View to a Kill." Duran Duran, I believe, did that. I really do like that song. The movie itself, I don't mind "A View to a Kill," but Roger Moore was too old. That should have been the first Timothy Dalton film. And then "The Living Daylights" and "License to Kill." I think that would have been... I think that would have made the film better. Two Chinese MiGs, but it's not really Chinese. Or like, it is, but they fucked up the instrumentation. To China, you guys are in Chinese waters, but your equipment's fucked up. And in a way, it's kind of like trying to start a war between U.S. and China to bump up your media and ratings and all that stuff. I hate to say it, put on a conspiracy hat. That's more understandable of a plot. Like, sadly, I could see that happening with all the disinformation I did compared to other James Bond plots. And it kind of is dealing with hacking too. You're hacking into what computers to mess with people's information. A media mogul madman. There's no news like bad news. Jonathan Pryce is a fun villain in this. But I always thought he was a good actor. Again, the first time I saw him was Jumpin' Jack Flash with Whoopi Goldberg. Because Whoopi Goldberg is a computer... what was her job? She worked at a bank. And again, for an 80s film, there's not a lot that dealt heavily in computers, unless like war games and other films. But she would literally kind of, almost like a hacker, talk to other people, and one of them was a guy who's a spy who needs to get back home, and we hear his voice, and it's Jonathan Pryce's voice. So Jumpin' Jack Flash is the first time and then he appears at the very end of the film. But these films definitely have a great production value. The budgets are definitely on screen. And that's kind of the fun of seeing a James Bond film, is that you would see a movie that was trying to be big and grand. Even in the films like Casino Royale, Skyfall, they're trying to be more grittier. You still had some pretty damn insane action sequences. So you would at least get your bang for your buck in those attributes. And like for James Bond films, I didn't grow up with James Bond films like other people. I saw this and GoldenEye, and then The World's Not Enough and Die Another Day. I'm like, eh. But I didn't grow up with, like, I grew up with Hard Target, Rambo films, Commando, Predator. Like, those are more of the action films I grew up with, not James Bond. But it wasn't until sometime in the 2010s, whether, I don't know, it's like 2012 or 2013, somewhere around there, I did see all the James Bond films, and like I enjoyed most of them. I like Doctor No, as all these people are dying. I like Doctor No. For Russia with Love, I could never get into. I never understood the appeal. Yeah, maybe that's more for the book fans. I never read the book, but I just never been a For Russia with Love guy. I really like Goldfinger. Thunderball, I could never get into. Like, For Russia with Love and Thunderball, I could never get into, but I like Doctor No. I love Goldfinger. I really enjoyed You Only Live Twice. Diamonds Are Forever, I didn't mind. I didn't mind that. And then Roger Moore, I like Live and Let Die. I love The Spy Who Loved Me. I really like For Your Eyes Only. Well, I think The Spy Who Loved Me is Roger Moore's best Bond film, and I think For Your Eyes Only is his second best, in my opinion. I like A View to a Kill, although he's a bit too old for the part. Octopussy is, I could never get into. And The Man with the Golden Gun. I like the stuff with Christopher Lee, but then the other stuff, it's like I want to see more of the Christopher Lee plot, not this other plot. So, but like I said, for the most part, like I liked The Living Daylights. I loved License to Kill. On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Before that, it was okay. There's elements I like, elements like whatever. I'm not big on George Lazenby. I would say he's my least favorite Bond. I do wish that film had like a Roger Moore or Sean Connery. I really do. Again, I wasn't the biggest George Lazenby guy. I think that he was absolutely terrible, no, but if you're asking me who my least favorite is, my favorite Bond, it probably is Pierce Brosnan. Like his acting and his suave and his delivery. But Sean Connery and Timothy Dalton, they're close. And I do like Roger Moore. Again, watching him how to manipulate the headlines. I didn't showcase how he manipulates the media, manipulates the headlines. Which is doing it in like a grand James Bond fashion, but that's the stuff that... And this is pretty, dire. You use the Chinese ammunition because they want to make you believe that China was killed. And then this videotape gets sent out and all they see is gunfire and people get shot. And they try to create this war between China and Well, not the U.S., I think. It's China and U.K. Keep saying U.S., but I think it's the U.K. Just British soldiers. And that's why James Bond is on the case. And then they stole these missiles. Then another cool thing about the film is you got Michelle Yeoh in it, which that's a nice addition. So we got plane crash in California, we got floods, we got all this other stuff. I'm laughing at that dialogue. You got a new software? Yes, it's full of bugs, so people will have to update for years. And like this, like, if he doesn't deal with the cable bills, I'm gonna release a tape with him and a cheerleader. And then once he does sign the bill, release the tape anyway. See, that's weird. Jonathan Pryce is definitely a kind of deliciously evil, slimy villain. He's definitely having fun with the part. I mean, just deliciously evil. Satellite News Network in the South China Sea. And this would be much more prevalent with the internet of today. Like control status of the internet. He'd be saying, I want Twitter, I want Facebook, I want YouTube, I want PornTube, I want Pornhub. I want GayTube. I don't know if that exists. I'm just guessing. I want everything. Everything. Do a Gary Oldman. Of course, where you find James Bond? Porkin. Porkin is the wife. No. But yeah, again, always been a fan of Pierce Brosnan. I mean, before I even watched the James Bond stuff, like I said, I liked The Lawnmower Man. And Live Wire, I do think is an underrated film. If you haven't seen Live Wire, you like action films that have a little bit of a different type of plot. I mean, at the end of the film, he even has all these traps. I don't want to say it's like Home Alone, but he has like these little cool MacGyver type of traps, and he shoots like nails in someone's face or something, like little bombs. And Ron Silver from Time Cop is in it. Ben Cross from Chariots of Fire is in it. Lisa Albacher from Beverly Hills Cop and Leviathan is in it. Then check out Live Wire. If you don't end up liking it, oh well, but I really did enjoy that film. And the thing is with like James Bond in the future, and my neighbor's rooster apparently feel the same way. See, apparently they knew what I was going to say. That's why they're moaning in pain. My neighbor's rooster is with James Bond in the future. I don't know if I should look forward to it because with the way the world is today, you could easily see them changing James Bond where, well, we can't have him having sex with women because that's misogynistic. He can't have sex with women, that's sexist. We can't have the women pretty because we can't have women pretty because that's sexist. And or it's homophobic, or it's some type of phobic, or it's sexist to fucking, I don't know, whatever the fuck I think in their Peasley fucking pea brain heads. Because we live in the world that is becoming more fucking brain dead. And he felt the same way. He's crying out for God, Allah, whatever. Please, I want to die and get eaten instead of deal with this bullshit. And of course, the weirdness, like, how the hell did they get this information first before anybody else? So yeah, it's more like British versus China. Yeah, sorry, now I'm just watching the film, but with why I enjoyed this film is, again, I think Pierce Brosnan has that smooth coolness, a Bond that you think of the character. You have well done action sequences. I still remember the motorcycle bit with him and Michelle Yeoh going through this little town and the helicopter chasing them. They had to jump over the helicopter, and I remember that being an exciting scene. I think the director mentioned, you had the tank scene in GoldenEye, which is a cool sequence. And he's like, well, I can't beat that because I can't have a bigger vehicle. So what if I have like a small, like, okay, motorcycle. They have the tank scene, we'll have a motorcycle scene, which is very well done. And then, yeah, the remote control car, which I thought was a cool idea, where, he's in the back seat with this controller and he's moving the car. Which, that, I know it sounds stupid, but that's more feasible to me than the fucking invisible car and Die Another Day. Like, that just seemed like cooler and more appropriate. The invisible car, I'm like, the invisible car is fucking pointless anyway. Well, he used one time to get just a little bit closer to this ice palace. And then there's a bit where he's invisible and he goes up the fucking wall because the tires have cleats or something that go have a stick on the wall. Whatever the hell it is. And like I said, I remember I did not. Ah, yes. I miss him. He was there from the beginning of James Bond. I mean, probably. Definitely. I hope not, but accidents do happen. God, I forget the actor's name who plays Q, but I don't remember if it was this. I think this is the last one he's in. I think. I don't remember. It's this or World Is Not Enough. I think it's this one, though. Because I think it's the next one where we introduce John Cleese. And it was always nice to see him in there. I thought he played off well with each of the James Bond. Of course, when he popped out, we were always wondering what kind of gadget or what kind of stuff would be implemented. See, in a way, I could see someone making this type of technology to have this remote control car. But again, in real life, what would be the reason for... Maybe for like a movie. Like, think about if you could do that for a movie where you put someone, like a body in there, but you're controlling it. So you could really do anything you want in the car and not worry about someone being injured. Like, if someone who knew how to control the car, that could do a lot for stunt work. Like, you could do all these crazy stunts and you just, you have the figure of a body in there and you just cut to someone, doing this. And you do a lot of stuff. Car crashes, big stunt crashes, flips, without someone being worried about injury. Maybe that's something to look into for the stunt world. But, or, well, no, not even that. Unless it's like, hey, we could deliver to you, but it's extra charge, but you bring your car to us. We'll put in your car, you come back to us. But I see that'd be a lot more hard work. But I think Terry Hatcher, who's going to pop up soon, she was pregnant at the time. I don't know how far pregnant. But Terry Hatcher, she was on the Lois and Clark TV show as Lois. I remember in a couple movies she was in this Andrew Dice Clay film, Brain Smasher, A Love Story, which sadly I wasn't big on because I love Andrew Dice Clay. I'm a Dice man, Dice fan. I love The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. In fact, it makes me want to rewatch Ford Fairlane now that I think about it. I love Ford Fairlane, but Brain Smasher just... here's Michelle Yeoh. Great choice. I mean, by this point she was in Jackie Chan's film Super Cop, aka Police Story 3. And she did a wonderful job there. I think that's maybe the first time America saw her. Because she had been doing other films overseas, of course. And also Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I think she did after this. You have... I mean, she's popped up quite a few times. She was in Shang-Chi. I'm trying to think if she was in the Mulan movie, the live-action one. I can't remember. I think she was in the Mechanic 2, or the Mechanic Resurrection. I think she was in that. I always like Michelle Yeoh. This, I think, definitely one of her better roles. And here's Terry Hatcher. I don't know what she has done lately. I couldn't tell you what she has done in the past 10 years. Was she part of Desperate Housewives show or something? I can't remember. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not familiar with what she's doing nowadays. It seems like after Lois and Clark, her and Dean Cain's careers, like, they still continue to work, but it was never up to that level of success. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she was in something big that I have no clue about. Yeah, Jonathan Price knows something's up. You're getting me with my poontang. So I don't you ready for a poon hunt. Get out of my way, James Bond. Like I say, if I did like a top 5 favorite James Bond films, it would probably be... Yeah, I don't know what order. GoldenEye's my personal favorite. Tomorrow Never Dies would be in my top 5. I Know the Spy Who Loved Me would be in my top 5. Because I really enjoy that one. Ooh, what else would be in the top 5? That's tough. Probably License to Kill would be in my top 5. And probably Goldfinger would be in my top 5. Probably GoldenEye, The Spy Who Loved Me. Tomorrow Never Dies. Maybe Goldfinger and License to Kill, or License to Kill Goldfinger. I don't know. It's hard for me to do lists. I could do a list, but then tomorrow one may switch with the other. But it's the general idea. I mean, the top 5 worst. Die Another Day would be on there. World Is Not Enough will be on there, which is sad because I like Pierce, but he's in 2 of the worst ones in my opinion. Octopussy I didn't care for. Spectre I will put in there because I didn't care for Spectre. I didn't see the new one because I didn't want to watch a 3-hour James Bond film. I don't think they need to be 3 hours. And then James Bond dies. I'm like, okay, symbolizes a lot of things I could get into, which I'm not going to. What would it be if, maybe From Russia with Love, because I think that's a bit overrated compared to other films I like. Maybe Man with the Golden Gun, I don't know. Never Say Never Again I wasn't big on too. That was like a remake of Thunderbolt. It was a weird rights thing where another company could make a James Bond film, but they couldn't, but they could because as long as they used the same story of Thunderbolt, because that has different rights. It's this weird thing where like a different, I think Never Say Never Again and Octopussy came out the same year, and I thought neither of them were that good. Although I'd probably rather watch Never Say Never Again than Octopussy. Because Never Say Never Again, at least I like the one scene where James Bond's with the bad guy and they're playing like video games. Kind of like usually be poker or Die Another Day was fencing. And there was video games. I'm like, Sean Connery is the last Starfighter. That's what it seemed like for a minute. But, like I said, about at least 80% of James Bond films I do quite enjoy. Probably higher percentage. Like Casino Royale, I liked. Quantum of Solace, I didn't mind for what it was. I think it's one of the shorter James Bond films. Skyfall I enjoyed. I mean, if you're technically saying anything with James Bond name attached to it, then the original Casino Royale back in the day in the 60s or whatever. The parody that wasn't funny at all, and you had, what was his name? Dr. Strangelove himself. I can't remember his name. Peter Sellers. Peter Sellers was in it. That's probably the worst thing I've seen with James Bond's name attached to it. That would be number 1. But, like, does that really count? But that is, like, because it really wasn't finished because, like, Peter Sellers left in the middle of it, so then the plot changed. That film was insufferable to watch. The original Casino Royale is fucking god-awful. Fucking awful. There we go. Get him, James. Bond, who you kidding? Beat the shit out of him. What is it, cello? There you go. Work your shit off the wall, y'all. We're gonna brawl, brawl. Right hook. You don't punch me, fuck you, and fuck you with this, what is it, a lamp, whatever. That's how you bullshit. Is that Crystal? There you go. Go to sleep, bitch. Obviously knows there's something going on. They tried to whip my ass. You know what? Fuck you and your speech. You're off the air. It's time for a station break. You're canceled, pal. Theatrical canceled. Not the cancel today. Although technically the actual canceled is a bullet to the brain, but you know, a TV show type of canceled. Bison, you're off the air. That is strangely how films progress, or in this case, regress. I looked at the year of films of this year, 2021, which has been unbelievable garbage. I could probably look at a film like Van Damme's Street Fighter. I wouldn't really be a big fan of it, but I don't think it would be a rant, because at least I would be laughing at stuff. I'm gonna get in my boots, I'm gonna go up river, I'm gonna hit some bitch's biceps ass so hard. This bicycle wanna be gonna feel it. See, I'm laughing and smiling, but then this year, man, you got fucking Home Alone, Sweet Home Alone bullshit, you got Space Jam 2, you got Candyman remakes, you got fucking Eternals, and Shang-Chi's, and Black Dildos, and F9, Rather Be a Tornado, put all these fucking movies in a blender. So much fucking cockamamie horseshit. Mortal fuckbot. Mortal kumquat. Dude, what was the lesson? The key to a great story is not who or what or when, but why. You're free, Mr. Bond. Do you expect me to talk? No, I expect you to die. This bullshit. You barely know him, and he barely touched you. That's like the kiss of death. Yeah, Terry Hatcher is not in the film too much. After that scene, yeah, this scene here, I think after this scene's done, he comes back and she's dead. That's where you have the assassin Vincent Schiavelli. Like I said, who was the guy who was the ghost trying to teach Patrick Swayze in the subway in the 1990 film Ghost. But you know, you look back on a film like this, and a lot is done practical for real. A guy can be a guy, a girl can be a girl. You still have strong woman Michelle Yeoh, but you have a sultry woman like Terry Hatcher. Guess what? That also works for guys too. Like you have a strong guy, and then you have a guy who's a pussy. You have a guy who's a wimp. That's because there's different types of people. But, you know, again, it's like nowadays, out of the media, the tweeters, which I rarely use Twitter. I have a Twitter, but I rarely use it. Like I'm on it like maybe 3 times a year. And I use more Facebook, but even then it's like we want everybody to think the same, behave the same, be the same, pontificate the same, like the same movies, hate the same movies, like the same beliefs, believe the same beliefs. Which it's like trying to make a monogamy when the entire race is polygamy. We want to fuck different people. We want to do different things. We want to like different things. It's like if you made a list of 100 favorite films, every list would be different. Maybe not 100% different. There'd be similarities, but if I asked 10 people, or your top 10 favorite films, there'd be differences. You know, you're not going to have... Terry Hatcher's pretty sexy, I gotta admit. Sorry, I had to stop what I was talking about. But can you blame me? It's Terry Hatcher. She's pretty damn hot. And, Jonathan Price, a bone in your girlfriend, a bone in your girlfriend. This guy in the chair, who's kind of a bit of the hacker, I think I saw him on episodes of the X-Files, I believe. I believe there was an X-Files episode about a magician, kind of more of like a humorous episode. I think this was the guy who was in that episode. I could be wrong, but I think that's the case. Yeah, I think that is him. I forget his name. Yeah, I think this is the last time we see her alive, and then next time we'll see her will be dead. But the movie goes at a good pace. I mean, we're already 46 minutes in. Now, a little bit over an hour left of the movie. If you take away the end credits. But, what are your favorite James Bond films? For those who get this far, which won't be many. But, again, I know I upload a lot of videos, but it's because when people send in a pay request, I don't want them to wait too long. Hopefully not wait too long, so there are times I upload like 2-3 videos a day. I know it gets overwhelming, but again, I just don't want people to wait. Because I do appreciate people sending a paid request, and I hate for them to wait. Again, I really do appreciate what people have done. Thank you so much. As I'm here in this cold weather, yes, even in Texas, it's cold in December. No snow at least, but it is cold. Of course, last year was like the worst winter ever, and we lost power for like 2 weeks. So that'll probably happen this year, around February, so I don't look forward to that. So that'll be fun. But I mean, the whole world is going to hell in a handbasket. That's why I just sit back and enjoy what I can. As everyone else, as much as you can, of course. Well, take it day by day. With all this other bullshit going on with politics and the world and all that shit. That's what's important about movies, though. Movies are an escape. Movies are escapism from the bullshit in your life and what's going on in the world. And then, yes, movies at times can be influenced or reflect on the times, but for the most part, you have to entertain them. But when it's more lecturing people about agendas and you're racist, stop being racist. You're sexist, stop being sexist. It's like, I'm not here for a fucking seminar or a lecture. I'm here to be entertained. And you're not even doing a good job with that. So it's like, shut the fuck up. Just like I want to tell this rooster to shut the fuck up from my neighbor. Shut the fuck up from you. Shut the fuck up from these people. I just want to be entertained. This is using his phone thing. Let's see. It's been a while since I've seen this, so I'm trying to remember what happens next. I think he gets another action scene will happen a little bit. Ah, there we go. Fingerprint. Not bad. Now, of course, it's one of those, how convenient, he just happens to have the exact gadget needed for the scene. Like, imagine if that didn't have a fingerprint thing, what would he have done? I mean, he just happened to have the right gadget. Like, what if it was a phone that just had, I don't know, a string that you could strangle someone with, or a laser beam. That wouldn't do anything with the fingerprint. So what more could he do then? I guess they're asking the same question too. Again, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's conveniences like that. Like, again, with most James Bond films, he happens to have the exact gadget needed for that particular investigation. You either go with it or you don't. And I'd go with it. I think this leads into the car bit, I believe. Could be wrong. But that's what I mean. Like, this movie is inconsistent with tone. Like, you look at Die Another Day, by this point, you're going into DNA replicators that make an Asian guy look like a white guy, and uh, ice palaces and invisible cars, and a fucking power glove hand that shocks people. Zzz. Hey, like, what the fuck is going on? Here, at least it's someone using their agility and wires to be like a cat burglar. The turd burglar. Cat burglar walking around. Being more stealthy than James Bond. Yeah, stop the presses. Oh yeah, doesn't he throw this guy like over the rail? You're on the front page, literally. Here you go, asshole. You've been breaking the tabloids. You want the front page? You are the front page. There you go. Get the fuck out of my face. And, ooh. Come on, Bond. You'll break his fucking arm. Beat the shit out of him. There you go. Ugh. They'll print anything these days. Somehow I remember that line. I don't know how the hell I remember it. Usually I'm bad at remembering lines, but hey, that line does work. They'll print anything these days. There you go. That old classic James Bond music. Just, okay, we're not at the car bit yet. Just in the nick of time. There we go. Yeah, that'll be later. Yeah, save it. You space them out. Save them for later. And my wife. Yeah, this is where he finds Terry Hatcher dead. And this asshole. He's coming. I don't want to deal with your personal affairs. You want to come, you come on your own time. Pretty nice, a car that could give you a gun like that. Yeah, he'll be, okay, he'll be the escape from here where the car comes into play. Yeah, this assassin asshole. Yeah, they don't try to get into the car, and it ain't gonna be that easy. Q knows what he's doing. When he makes a car fit for Bond. James Bond. It's kind of interesting way of doing it where you have the news tell of the death as soon as he enters in. So it's like you tell the audience and then there's the reveal. And they're right there with that dialogue. It's like, oh shit. There's Vincent Schiavelli. He's been in other stuff too, but I always remember him from the Ghost from 1990. I think he was in Batman Returns as one of the Penguin's gang. I believe he was. Tomorrow's news today, because tomorrow never dies. And then I wonder if that's one of those like hard things is to try to come up with titles for all these James Bond films. I mean, some of them are easy, like Goldfinger. What is the bad guy, and maybe The Spy Who Loved Me. But some of those other, keep on doctor, but you can't come in. Sorry, now I'm just watching the film. I apologize, but that's one of those things that he could have shot Bond from the get-go. So I guess he just wanted to have this conversation. Just not like, okay, where is the item? Where is this and that? He just had this conversation, and then he's going to shoot Bond, and then he's told, oh, wait a minute. How do you get to the car? So he just shot, imagine, what if he just shot Bond, boom, right then and there. As before he even said anything. Pierce Brosnan, dead. But that's with almost any James Bond. That goes way back to the day with the laser. Like, why do you have the laser slowly going up James Bond's legs? Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. It's just one of those things where... But there you go. This is a good line. I'm just a professional doing a job. Me too. Like, that's a bit that would fit in Casino Royale or, you know, Daniel Craig stuff. Me too. See, that's the thing, Daniel Craig, he's not the first guy to do that kind of Bond. I mean, Timothy Dalton, License to Kill, you say, did that similar stuff too. And I like License to Kill. That's an underrated one. There's James Bond, but it's also an 80s action movie, you know, interspersed together. And Timothy Dalton, I do wish he'd have more than 2 movies. It's a shame he only got 2 films. But I mean, the films didn't do as well as others. And License to Kill, I mean, that was the summer of Batman and Back to the Future Part 2, Lethal Weapon 2, like, that was like one of the biggest summers out there. Like, you look at the summer of 89, it's insane. With the amount of movies. Like, people want to talk about the year 82 for, sci-fi fantasy. Look at the summer of 89. You're like, holy shit. Like, Lethal Weapon 2 was huge. Back to the Future Part 2 was huge. Batman 89 was a phenomenon. And then you had all these other movies. Indiana Jones' Last Crusade. And here you get the remote control car, which I thought was kind of a cool idea for an action scene. You got missiles and nice. Like all the planning that had to be put into that. Okay, we're gonna blow this car back, and real car flying back to collide with another car. It's pretty damn. I mean, there's some work to be put into that, man. There really is. You got a little bit of the gadgets here. You got the spikes. The surprised they don't have the oil slick. Hey, I guess there you go. Triple X, eat your heart out. Okay, I can't go that way. I'll do another way. And it's interesting. You have these wide shots of the driver to sell more of the illusion of a car driving by itself like this. And then you take a car chase scene, you make it a little bit more interesting, unique. What they tried to do in Die Another Day was this ice palace, but the ice palace just, like, you couldn't tell what was going on because it all looked the same. And at least here, like that's a cool moment. You just shot at it, goes through the windshield, it hits the car behind them. And now we have this here that take the top part off. You tried to retap the D-tap. Good thing he's ducking. Oh no, okay, I forgot he had this thing here. Like how often would that come into place to put that in a car? But it's like Batman. You know, you just have something for every occasion. It's like when Batman had, skates on Batman and Robin. Like, how often does that come into play? But hey, it worked. There you go. Yeah, these guys on a wild goose chase. Did you fly, baby? Did you fly? Bullseye. Ryan to the rent-a-car. See, now if this was Roger Moore and Live and Let Die on For Your Eyes Only, he would hit that bad guy car. I like the idea. For Your Eyes Only, I do enjoy. That's one of my favorite Roger Moore Bond films. Yeah, my favorite Spy Who Loved Me, and then it would be For Your Eyes Only. I think that's one I saw and I was quite pleasantly surprised by because it's not really a James Bond film people talk about. Here's Joe Don Baker. The big man from Walking Tall. The original Walking Tall. Which then got sequels with another actor. And then it was remade with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson in 2004 or so. But he is Joe Don Baker. Mitchell, which is a familiar film with Mystery Science Theater 3000 fans. Mitchell, and I think the other one was like Final Justice. He was in another film called Golden Needles. Joe Don Baker's been around, but he's not really an actor that people I think in the general population would recognize or know about. One of those good character actors. Which you don't have a lot of those anymore, because it just here's back in the day when you would have an actual actors of an older generation to star in a film. Now just some fresh-faced people. Doesn't matter if they're not as good at acting. Or only a small favor. Okay, Jimbo. Sorry, I'm just watching. This guy talked to him looks familiar. I'm trying to remember who that is. Seems like a lot to save the world, isn't it, Jimbo? Joe Don Bader has a good, joyful nature to his character in this. Buddha bless. I forgot about that. Maybe you should have thought about that before you let him jump. And I'm free, free falling. God, I can imagine just how fucking scary that would be jumping off, even with a parachute. Well, I mean, without a parachute, you'd be dead. But I mean, with a parachute, that would be scary as hell. I don't think I would ever even want to try that. Just I'd be the fucking guy, like terminal velocity where it doesn't fucking go dead. I'd be the asshole that dies without, because it just wouldn't work. But pretty much James Bond's gonna go into this crash site to see for any clues. I think this is where he's gonna meet Michelle Yeoh. Well, she hasn't been in the film much. I mean, Michelle Yeoh is like on the poster, but we're an hour and 8 minutes in, and again, we saw a little bit at a party for like a minute or two. Then there was the little bit, like a minute or two, in the cap, the almost I keep wanting to call it cap burglar, but I mean, she's probably been in the film for only like 2 minutes so far. And it's like an hour and 8 minutes in. And again, we have like 50 minutes with end credits, so like 45 minutes left. But I think it's because after this, she becomes a lot more prevalent. There's a bonding with each other, and then you have the motorcycle chase scene. You have the bit where, well, before that, where they jump out and they're both coming down with that banner. At the end, where she gets some action scenes as well as Bond, so I think that's why like she gets a lot more prevalent in the, I don't know, you want to call it the third act or second half of the film, however you want to put it. There's Michelle Yeoh. There you go. Now they know who each other are. There's still a lot of fucking missiles in there. Can you imagine there's just a fucking giant missile just right in front of you? And that closes the door, of course, gets them trapped in. So it's like, now what do we do? We're gonna kiss our ass. Why? That's what. And then you have to figure out. I mean, that's another thing. You're underwater like this. I mean, at least I guess you got stuff to breathe and goggles you could see. So at least that's something, but damn, that's a claustrophobic. That's like a tiny hole to get through. I mean, the reason I'm going on about this is that would have to be tough to film, even just as an actor. Like, okay, you're underwater, you're in this very claustrophobic place, you gotta go through this. Part of your brain's worried about what if something screws up and I need air. Someone's gonna have to be far enough behind so they're not in the shot and you're not creating bubbles. And you're going, where the fuck did those bubbles come from? Ooh. This fucking guy. This blonde. Looks like. I keep thinking in Rambo 3, when Russell Mulcahy was going to direct it, and Stallone said, well, he had all these, like, blonde-haired, blue-eyed guys. I'm like, that'd be one of the guys that Russell Mulcahy would have. And from here on out, Michelle Yeoh is a lot more prominent. Yeah, he definitely has some kind of complex. He's a legend in his own mind. Yeah, sorry I'm just watching the film. I'm sure it's like, hey, I'm glad we're listening to the sound of silence. This guy definitely knows his fight. You know, he knows everything. Do you know their social security code too? Nice reference to Star Wars. The Empire will strike back. But this whole thing with China, that's also kind of prevalent in today's age, where I don't know how many of my viewers are Chinese. For all I know, none. See, I have nothing against that. It's taking films and going, we have to change this and this and this for this market. Like, I don't even like the Star Wars Disney films, but I remember when they did the poster of The Force Awakens. And they literally took Finn and they changed it. And really, it's more Disney's fault. But it's like, well, China doesn't like black people. I'm like, really? Is that true? But there are times that they complain about stuff. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. I'm like, why not? I don't know, just certain things that a behavior I just don't understand. And I know America is far from perfect, but then China acts like they are perfect. I'm like, you're not perfect either. No country is perfect. None. And the whole communism thing, and like, not big on it. And like Jackie Chan supporting it, and even people with the Hong Kong. I mean, that's all bag of beans, so to speak. There we go. That's having James Bond to shoot the shit out of people. I remember this being a pretty fun stunt to watch as well. And this is we've seen this a couple times where they have the banner. I think it was in one of the Rush Hour films, maybe Rush Hour 3 or something, where this banner thing and it starts ripping. I've also been in wasn't any was it in Showtime with Eddie Murphy? I've seen that a couple times, but the first time I had seen it was in this movie. There might have been movies before that did that, but this is the first time I had seen it done. I always thought kind of a cool stunt sequence. So you need to have kept some bullets in that gun to shoot the glass. Yeah. Also, you kept the gun, could have maybe shot the handcuffs. That's another thing that you have to do is motorcycle bit where your handcuffs. So how the hell do you even do that? There you go. There you go. Man and woman working together. I would say this is my favorite action scene in the movie. I think it's creative. I haven't seen it quite done like this before. It's well staged. You get a lot of like solid big set pieces during it. Like you gotta go through all of these people and not run into them. And yeah, you have two people handcuffed to each other. Like, how do you do that? So they both have to work the bike. It is interesting idea that it's not typical. Makes it a bit more unique and different. Okay, how do you do a motorcycle chase? Here's a way of doing it. And then Michelle Yeoh is a bit more flexible, so let James Bond do some stuff and let Michelle Yeoh do some stuff. Yet if you kept the gun, could have used it against them. Here you go. There you go. Fucking fireworks all over. And the way it's edited is not too bad too, because a lot of times you do see the actors in with the scene to make you believe it. Of course, a lot of this is gonna be done with stunt people. It'd be too dangerous to do with the actors, but they show enough of the actors to sell more of the illusion that they're doing this whole sequence. And all done practical, for real. There's real people on a motorcycle doing this, going on rooftops, real helicopters, all that jazz. Because you cannot get more real than real. So you see an action sequence like this, and it still holds up. It's still cool to see, cool to watch. You go, wow. Compared to a few years later, Die Another Day, where you had the ending with the airplane scene, where it cuts to the airplane and this fucking laser from the sky that looks like a sci-fi channel flick in today's age. That doesn't hold up at all. This does. Because again, you cannot get more real than real. I don't know why I keep saying this. It's not just to harp on CGI. CGI can work as a tool, but it's an overused tool. Yes, this is a lot tougher to do. But guess what? You get more of a reward, especially in the long run. I watched a Dolph Lundgren directed video film called The Peace was it The Peacekeeper? You have a there you go. Love that shot. Great wide shot. You see the motorcycle going over the helicopter. You're like, wow, cool. How'd they do that? But there was a Dolph Lundgren film like The Peacekeeper or something, and there was like a car chase on a rooftop. I'm like, wow, for a direct-to-video film, this is actually pretty good-looking chasing. And it's still going with this chase. See other action films, that could be the culmination. All these fucking email keep popping up. Now you got this here, like this helicopter's ready to kill everybody, chop people up to pieces. Pretty dumb idea on their part, because you could easily get demolished if that blade hits the wrong way, but like that's a cool image. Like, how did they do that? That's go. It really looks like this helicopter is barreling down on these people with. I wonder if the blades are animated. Maybe that's how it is. Like the blades are animated, so they have like a helicopter thing going like this with like a crane, and then they animate. Because sometimes that happens. They animate the blades. It could be. I don't know. Just to make it more safer. Because again, if those blades hit the wrong way, they're gonna fly around and cut everyone in half. Sadly, what happened to the Twilight Zone the movie. That would do it. And this was cool too. Like sliding right under the helicopter. You got that James Bond music. The helicopter coming down. It's big, it's grand, it's explosive. It's done most for real, practical. Fire explosion. I mean, like that's a James Bond sequence. That's a grand sequence. Like that's big. That that is like yeah. That seems like that's why I enjoy this film quite a bit. And like I said, Michelle Yeoh's a nice addition. The plot is actually kind of interesting compared to today's age. Like I said, Jonathan Pryce is having a ball as a villain, relishing the role. I always like Michelle Yeoh. And we got about 30 minutes left. Yeah, I think you get a little action scene here too, where you get to show a bit of Michelle Yeoh's martial arts, which is nice to see. I mean, I would say her best film is still Super Cop with Jackie Chan. I'm a big fan of Super Cop, but this is probably her second best role. I know people say Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I've never been a fan of that film. Maybe just those films are not my cup of tea. When I say those films, I mean the what you call wushu, like the very heavily wire work. Like I prefer Jet Li's Fist of Legend or Jackie Chan's Rumble in the Bronx or John Woo's Hard Boiled. Like this type of fight scene I prefer. Her using her steals, her kicks, her punches, no wire work, flying around, being elegant. I like down and dirty Bruce Lee, Jean-Claude Van Damme, early Steven Seagal. And these are, handling herself fairly well. Nice kicks, nice punches. There you go, nice elbows. Nice flip. Two. Tipped you in the face. Yeah, stomach. I think one of the things is that Michelle Yeoh wanted to do more of her stunts, but this type of film, insurance is super high, and they're just too scared of it. Which, I mean, it's understandable. Because again, you look at the history of films like Twilight Zone the movie, they don't want that to happen again. And even then, stuff still happens. One of the Deadpool films, someone died during it. Sadly, that still happens. The Vin Diesel film Triple X, someone was doing a stunt for the third act, and they're like, the stunt where Vin Diesel is like parachute, there's a boat or something, try to get to it, stuntman was on it, hit something, died. That still happens, sadly. Sorry, I'm gonna listen to the dialogue. So pretty much, they stole a missile because they're going to try to be by the British. They're going to fire a missile at China, so China will think they're being attacked, retaliate back, start a fighting, a war, and Jonathan Pryce is like, I'm going to provide all the pictures and all the coverage, and people don't look to me because we have the up-to-the-date, which, I mean, when that happens, people, a lot of ratings, I mean, this is going to sound weird, but, and off tangent, The Flash, the 1990 TV show, one of the reasons it got canceled was, well, it was a number of reasons, but one of them was bad time slot, all this stuff, but also the program would be interrupted for the Gulf War, and people would be tuned into that, what's going on, what's happening, of course, because they're fascinated, and almost as if they think things will change under their watch, under their guise, and interested in seeing like their version of the James Bond gadgets. And in a way, Michelle Yeoh is like a female James Bond. And that's why it's too bad that a lot of times the women would not come back. Like, it would have been nice to see Michelle Yeoh in another movie or two with Pierce Brosnan. Because I do think they worked well together, but yeah, they didn't really do that. It was, that's kind of the thing with Bond, is that, each new Bond lady is a new, I mean, I guess in a way they did that with maybe Casino Royale, as in they followed the theme of her dying and all that. But I don't know. It's just talking out my ass anyway. No, you will not take a check. No traveler's checks. You pay Visa or MasterCard. No American Express. I don't care if you can't leave home without it. We don't take this boat. We don't see John Rambo. He's catching snakes. He don't tell you fuck off, just fuck the world, and you don't do it yourself. That's funny they mentioned communist, and she goes, I don't even have a little red book. But apparently Jackie Chan does. But I mean, the more things change, the more they stay the same. We all have our differences. We all have our flaws. We all have our vices. We all have our strengths. Thus, one isn't better than the other. Thus, we're equals. Holy shit, what a wild concept, right? And, again, people forget how things can change, and at times change rather quickly. Again, this seems weird to say, but think of back to the day, World War II, Japan, the bombing of Pearl Harbor. Horrible event, right? Few decades later, one of the most popular cartoons is the Ninja Turtles. Was Ninja? Japanese. So, Japanese, World War II, now, Ninja Turtles. Most popular cartoon at the time. Again, things change. And kids are watching Ninja and knowing about, Japanese lore. Again, things change. Things change, people change, adapt, whatever you want to call it. Ready to fight and kill, I guess the Russians in the Cold War, and things change. Adaptation. Might be your enemy one day, doesn't mean it'll be your enemy forever, and all that jazz. That's the thing, if a country believes in something doesn't mean every single person in that country believes in that. That goes with America. There are times that the country America does stuff, but it doesn't mean every one of us, including me, believes in what they're doing. Like the Afghanistan stuff, let's bail out. I'm like, there's a lot of people that trusted us, you're bailing out. I heard that there was like a secret like Delta Force, like cool badass motherfuckers that came in and secretly got people out. If that's the case, cue the Delta Force theme. Because, don't fuck them over because you're being an asshole. Like, if America told these people, trust us, go stick with your word. Don't be a fucking two-faced asshole. God. Just because you're in the country doesn't mean you believe in everything that the government does. Believe me, a lot of people in America, they don't believe in a lot of what the government does. Well, James Bond stabs a motherfucker. And here we get this, I thought it was a submarine, but I guess stealth boat was more like it. I don't know why I kept thinking of submarine. I think dying the other day, I said there's a submarine, but it's a stealth boat. How do you know Bond is dead? You didn't even check the body. If Bond's dead, that's a good-looking ghost. No, Bond's dead in the new movie, not in this movie. They gave James Bond Fox die in the new movie. But I mean, also with James Bond, you can only get away with so much with PG-13. So yeah, he's stabbing people, but you can't show a lot of blood because, again, there's never been an R-rated James Bond film. I don't think there ever will. That would be interesting to try one day, an R-rated James Bond film. But with the budgets they have, I don't think they want to take that chance. I'm just saying it would be interesting to try one day. But again, with the way these budgets are, they won't. See, this is when Jonathan Pryce is having fun with the role. Just him just making fun of that. Hoya, hoya, hoya. That's what I mean. He's relishing the role. He's having fun with it. Let's make some noise. Do people notice us? Again, come on, it's James Bond. You should really double check the body to see if it is James Bond. That's where you fucked up. Because you're ego. Maniacal asshole. Of course, there's a part of you that goes, you get ready to start World War III with the exclusive broadcasting rights in China for the next 100 years. there you go, working for China. Just like nowadays, with so many American studios, they care what happens in China. We gotta stew to China. We gotta make our movie more for the Chinese audience. It's like, well, why can't it be for all audiences? And like specifically, we gotta do this and this and this. Like even the movie The Meg, in the book it was Japanese. Nope, we gotta make it Chinese for the China audience. Oh, we gotta do this. Like Top Gun 2. Well, you gotta change on Mavericks because the Chinese are offended by it. Why are they offended by it? It just, Christ. I know they seem like little things, but little things get to bigger and bigger things. Sorry, I'm listening to the dialogue because, again, some of this dialogue is prominent in today's age, sad to say. Then you're fired. See, you should not have said that. So do I. It's called Bang, You're Dead. Boom shakalaka. There you go. Hopefully you'll see this with your stealth ship. And sometimes you just want to see gunplay, and sometimes the simple things are fun. There you go. But that's the thing, like, you got James Bond doing this thing, you got Michelle Yeoh doing her martial arts thing. Ooh, nice. Ninja star to the neck. You just see they had to cut it pretty quickly for that PG-13 rating, but still, you got ninja star into someone's neck. That's pretty cool. And sometimes the simple things that make you smile. It's weird. You smile because a ninja star to the neck? Yes. Anytime a ninja star is used, I smile. It's not used that often, especially nowadays. Like, when was the last time a mainstream movie used a ninja star? I mean, even State Plisting used it and put it right someone's fucking forehead back in the day in Steve, New York. Okay, keep shooting. Let's play Battleship for real. I'm trying to think of other movies that came out in 1997. God, I'm trying to... I know Titanic, of course, was 97. I think Men in Black was 97. God, I'm trying to think now. I think like Alien Resurrection was 97. As Good as It Gets might have been 97. Can't remember. But God, Alien Resurrection, don't get me started on that fucking movie. And it's cool, like, you get Michelle Yeoh with two machine guns. Good looking sex scenes, like, dude, old... I thought Roger Spottiswoode would handle the action scenes fairly well for a guy that Again, did action here and there, but it's not like a John McTiernan or Rennie Harlan or John Woo when it comes to that. And it shows that she's not useless. Far from it. Look, it's two people, man and woman, working together for a common goal. I know that's weird, and you're not shitting on one or the other to make yourself much more prominent. No, it's two people equally working together to solve this issue and kill bad guys and fuck their day up. Give them a primal meeting with God. And yeah, this is cool. Like, James Bond did this big ass fucking missile thing. Like, the biggest fucking bazooka ever. It's like, look at this. I get to, this is cool. I get all these missiles. Fuck your day up. I'm gonna fuck this whole place up with these missiles. Like, this big fucking thing with all these missiles in it is like the biggest rocket launcher ever. It said bazooka, I meant rocket launcher. Although, what's the difference between a rocket launcher and a bazooka? Does the bazooka also shoot rockets or not? Maybe not, I don't know. And this action finale is so much better than Die Another Day. Because again, that's the one I just saw again recently for another commentary for Yule. This is a much more exciting. Like, the finale in that is either driving through an ice palace that's melting and all looks the same, just ice, ice, ice. Or they're on a fucking plane and the outside looks like shit because it's shit CGI going down. But here you get, they're killing bad guys left and right. They're blowing up more and more of the stealth ship. She's doing stuff. He's doing stuff. Machine gun fun. Missile rocket launcher fun. Again, so much more satisfying than... And The World Is Not Enough, I don't even remember what the ending to that film... Like, I don't remember anything about World Is Not Enough. Other than Denise Richards. And I think the bad guy has a bullet in his brain so he doesn't feel pain. But I don't remember a fucking thing about that movie. I really don't. That's what I mean, it's forgettable to me. Again, the action scenes here are exciting. They're thrilling. And again, you have a villain that's fun. You have two good heroes. It's under 2 hours, so it doesn't overstay its welcome. This guy's being a dickhead, shooting more and more. Yeah, we have like, with end credits, 10 minutes left. Again, they still don't double check if Bond is dead. Again, that's always their mistake. Double check if Bond is dead. That's a mistake they keep fucking making. They keep making the same fucking mistake. What are you gonna do? Shoot a rocket launcher in her face? Grenade launcher, I should say. There you go. Yeah, he just don't give a fuck anymore. Like, shoot them all. Shoot everything. Ah. And this is a good send-off for the bad guy. You give the people what they want. Which reminds me of the Running Man. Drop dead. I don't do requests. I don't know why it reminds me of that, but Oh, it's because before that Arnold says, I'm going to give the people what I think they want. Then it's like, drop dead, I'll do requests. While here it's like, you got the first rule of mass media, Elliot. Give the people what they want. That's true. Again, yeah, deer someone up. Like one giant fucking chainsaw. Like, how the hell do you do that with PG-13? That's the best way to do it. Hmm. I'll be right back, guys. I'm paused. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I had to do something real quick, so I'll just edit these together. I'm paused at 1 hour, 50 minutes, and 40 seconds. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. Let her go. Not between you and me. Like, dude, why do you even care, man? Like, there's this bad guy. Your boss is dead. You're not going to get paid. Like, why even fucking care? That is for the shits and giggles. Man, I don't know. Maybe Carver was his boyfriend. I don't know. But it's like, you know, you got the bad guy, and then you don't have, like, the evil henchman. You got the guy with the diamonds in his face in Die Another Day. You got the hat, and was it Goldfinger? You got this guy here. You love this so much, you don't fucking stay here, buddy. Have fun. You know, punch the shit out of him. Knock him the fuck out. Gouge his fucking eyes out or something. Pretty damn strong to hold it on, you know, with one hand. All those fucking zippers. It's always about those zippers. You know, just cut the shit out of it. Sayonara, pal. For your eyes only, the kiss of life. We're gonna kiss it all. Which, I mean, I've never tried that in real life. I don't know how... Because wouldn't you be breathing in... Because you breathe out carbon dioxide. Would you really be getting a lot of oxygen from a kiss? Maybe enough. You know, at least a gulp or two, perhaps. Which, you know, is more than enough. Just like... At least to be able to hold your breath one more time to do all this. Well, there you go. And that's sort of the irony, is that his death gets fantasized and manipulated, just like he was manipulating all other news. His own death gets manipulated. It's kind of like the big, the final fuck you. Like, no, you committed suicide. Like, no one's don't even know how you truly died, so getting the old, kind of the final fuck you. Although that'd be pretty damn uncomfortable to make out. You're wet, you're hurt, you're probably on some sharp metal and shit. And loving memory of Albert Broccoli. Yeah, Desmond Llewellyn as Q. I don't know if this or the next one is his final one. Okay, it was Al Matthews. I was thinking about that for a sec. Wait, leading seaman Gerard Butler? Wait a minute, pause for a sec. Let me go back. I'm at 155.36. Leading seaman Gerard Butler. Really? Gerard Butler? Wow, okay. Play now. Wow, Gerard Butler has a tiny part in this. But that one guy said, oh, the guy that's talking to Bond before he jumps off the Halo jump, he seems from familiar. In the back of my head, I'm like, is that Al Matthews? But he looked good for his age. I mean, this was 97. Well, I mean, yeah, about probably 11 years after Aliens. Holy shit, that was Al Matthews from Aliens. Just another day in the Corps. Every meal a banquet. I love the Corps. Look into my eyes. Hudson, come here. Come here. Look into my eye. Rest in peace. I know Al Matthews has passed away. But yeah, that is Al Matthews. No wonder I reckon. I'm like, he's familiar. I thought it was him, but I didn't want to say it in case I was wrong. But, wow, cool. Apone is in this movie. I forgot about that. It is like, oh, no wonder he seems familiar. There you go, that movie. Didn't have his mustache, that's why. But yeah, Tomorrow Never Dies, I think it's a fun entry into the James Bond filmography. A little bit underrated. No one really talks about the film. And it was successful. It made money. And then they did two more. And Die Another Day kind of... What Was Not Enough wasn't that good. Die Another Day really screwed the pooch. And then a few years later you had the Daniel Craig stuff. And now that's done, so who knows what the hell's next for James Bond. And I don't know if I really look forward to what's next for James Bond. Because who knows what other what agenda SJW bullshit they'll put into it, with like they do in so many movies nowadays. But yeah, Tomorrow Never Dies. I think it's a fun, entertaining movie. Still holds up fairly well. And I would say is one of my favorite James Bond movies. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.